Why are you so quiet?
I don't know. I was waiting to see what you were going to do.
Don't wait for me. Do your own thing. Start your own business.
Oh, okay.
Wells Fargo, our new sponsor. That would be crazy if we did get Wells Fargo.
That'd be really crazy.
I would say, give me all my money back for those fees that you had for me in the 2000s.
Yeah. Yeah. All the bank fees, overdraft fees. Oof.
Low interest rates.
Do you remember? This is a memory that will never leave my mind, is buying a $35 bagel.
Oh yeah, I got Missy Elliott. I got a Missy Elliott album on half.com for $3. It turned out to be $33.
Yep.
That was amazing.
Good times.
So
It
fun.
was amazing.
So, we just saw a movie.
We did.
And my name is Josh.
I'm Michelle.
Am a Gemini. Billy Ray, Capricorn. Watch one of our previous episodes on trading places. That is an ad for sure. So yeah, we saw, what movie did we see?
We watched Project Power.
Not Project Blowed, LA Collective, but the movie Project Power.
Project Power, starring Jamie Foxx and Joseph Gordon-Levitt. And
two young ladies.
Dominique Fishburne. Fishbeck.
Fish scales.
Sorry, got that wrong. It's Dominique Fishback.
Nothing like a fishback.
Yeah.
I bet you her middle school and times were fun.
Yes.
What took you so long?
I don't know.
To agree?
You're
like, well, was that a joke or is that serious? Why would that be serious?
No, in my head, I was going on a different train of thought because I was like, oh, her name is Fishback, and we're going to talk about something from the ocean later, and that's where fish live.
Fish do live in the ocean.
So my brain was going somewhere else.
They do live in the ocean. You're
Not
correct.
where yours was, yeah.
They also live in bowls and tanks.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. She does not.
And they live for a little short while on land.
Oh, okay.
Short.
Very short.
Not very short. It's actually pretty traumatizing. Why are you bringing this up?
I didn't.
You brought it up.
No.
Yeah, you did. You talked about fish backs, and then that brought me.
Well, let's get this started.
Oh yeah. Okay.
What have you been up to?
I don't remember.
Is it weird that we do this, considering we live together and we're with each other like
this
all
isn't
the
for
time?
us. This isn't for us.
Do people care? I wonder.
I don't know. People say they like our banter.
Okay.
So then this is part of the banter.
Okay.
They might be interested in
this is the only part they like. They just turn it off.
Like, we don't
care what you say
about
movies
at all. All we want to do is hear you say random crazy things.
That'd be a lot easier of a podcast because then we wouldn't have to edit anything.
It's called, Hey, We're Just Talking Here. That's the spinoff.
That's coming out 2021.
Yeah. I've been working. I've been trying to get used to working.
Still.
Wait,
how long have you been at your job now?
This will be
a month, right?
No, well, it's past a month.
Oh.
It was a month on the 5th, July 6th.
Oh, right.
August 6th.
What is this?
So this will be coming up on 2 months.
Oh, it's almost September.
Yeah. Well, it's August. Well, I've also been teaching on Tuesdays, which has turned out to be a lot more work than I thought, because I thought teaching from home would be easier, like teaching a class from home would be easier, but your time is never really solidified. You teach that amount of time, and then people just email you randomly throughout the evening, night and day, being like, hey, I didn't do the homework because my dog ate my computer. Can I turn my stuff in late? And then you're like, no. And then
No.
they tell you something really personal and you're like, well, you should have led with that. And yeah, it's just kind of when you're working a full-time job and then you're teaching, like, I love teaching, but under many of the circumstances that we're in right now with COVID and all this stuff, and I'm trying to get something off the ground.
Well, and it's just doing both.
Yeah.
Makes it really difficult.
Right.
Like full-time job and teaching 2 classes makes it more difficult to manage.
Yeah. And
in a fun way.
Right. Yeah. And you know, I've spent the last 8 years freelancing and trying to prove myself and whatever that's called, and you know, getting not paid for a ton of stuff, like learning things for the sake of learning them, with the possibility that somebody may ask me, "Hey, do you know this thing?" And so I've spent a lot of time that I could have been doing being a musician, um, being kind of like a sideman or a behind the scenes tech person or whatever. So now that and teaching as well, and now that I have like a full time job that is a tech job that you know seems like everybody likes me and it's a sustainable job. Like I'm not going to be fired the next month. I'm kind of like, you know, why use up more of my life to work more when I've spent all this time working so much, and why don't I use my life to actually, you know, make work and then make music and then have fun, do whatever.
It's just a transition.
Yeah. So it's
maybe time to set down the teacher hat.
Yeah. Like I still want to do one-on-one. So if anybody's watching and that kind of thing, like I'm all down for one-on-ones.
Josh, again, we're not on TV.
What?
You say that a lot. If anyone's watching.
Whatever. It's just classes.
If somebody's watching, it's super creepy because that means they're like outside with binoculars.
Yeah. So yeah, I like teaching, but one-on-ones are definitely great.
But yeah, if anybody needs, you know what? Let's do some plugs here. If anybody needs a one-on-one lesson for Ableton Live, hit up Josh.
Soon to be Max for Live or Max.
Exactly.
Getting way better.
How do the people find you, Josh?
JoshSpoon.com.
There you go. Also, what else can you find at JoshSpoon.com?
Music.
Yeah, give it a listen, people.
What am I, an 8-year-old?
Yeah.
What else can you find at JoshSpoon.com? Music?
No, I'm giving you this camera. Tell the people what you got going on in your life.
Oh, you're making me sad about COVID. I miss the hot ones in person. The
real hot ones episodes.
Yeah, it's not as great during the
people. If you have not discovered hot ones on YouTube, you're welcome. Go look it up. It's wonderful, and there are a lot of seasons that you can watch.
I think they're on season 10 right now.
But now they're in COVID season, they're doing this whole eating chicken wings via Zoom.
Zoom and wings.
Which is not as much fun to watch.
No, it's not, sadly.
But it's, the host.
I hope they keep doing it.
Sean Evans is
Diddy.
Pretty... Sean Evans, Diddy?
Sean Combs. Take that.
He's pretty cool. He's got some pretty cool interview skills.
Yeah.
But
he's Nardwuar for chicken wings.
Not this podcast is about movies. So
yeah.
You know what we didn't do this week?
What? I don't know.
We did not really until today. We did not do laundry. But also we did not have any one-wheel adventures.
What do you? Oh, you mean until today?
Yeah, until today. Because you know why? It's hot up in here. That's right.
There's fires. There's Satan breathing on most of California.
Yeah.
He's just like...
Yeah. And I know it's hot in Texas, too.
It's hot in a lot of places.
Yeah.
There's hurricanes. Sorry, Laura Holt. The one's named after you. It's called Laura Holt. No, it's just Laura. I started complaining on Facebook.
Hurricane Laura.
Shout out to Laura Holt. There's
a lot going on, but it's been hot, so we did not ride because that's not very enjoyable.
Nope.
We don't do well in the heat. I mean, growing up in Texas, it was just hot, so it is what it is. But since we moved to California, I adapted very quickly, and I enjoy the not hot all the time-ness. And so when it's hot, because it's only 90 degrees here, that's not that big a deal in Texas.
Well, it was more than 90 this week.
Yeah, it's been.
Well, I'll say for me, I think for me, it's mainly the obligation of life that makes you realize that it's hot. Like when you're a kid, you don't have any responsibilities of really anything to think about. So if it's hot, you're usually going from the car to school. Someone else is driving.
That's true.
Right? So that's not really a problem. You don't have to drive while being hot. And then you also don't have to shop forget you left a soda in the car. Think about all the things you have to do in a day that involve outside. If you go outside, you're going outside to have fun.
Right. You got sprinklers to run through.
Yeah. Or
Maybe
even if you're just running
pool.
around, even if you're just on your bike,
playing.
then you come home and you watch Nickelodeon.
In your air conditioned, hopefully air conditioned.
Right. And you're not thinking about the air conditioning bill.
Right.
You're not thinking about
definitely not
how loud your TV is to compensate for the loud. Actually, I guess in Texas you have usually a decent sounding AC, but we have window units, so
super
we have to
loud.
turn up and down the volume when gunshots come on because we can't hear over the air conditioner.
I think I probably complained about the heat as I was got older in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had that one place that did not have an AC, just the window units, and it was wicked hot.
Oh yeah, that was bad.
Always. And we just lay on the floor because it was so hot.
Yeah.
And that was a breaking point. And then I remember we were talking about leaving Dallas and you were like, we could move to Austin. I was like, nope, we are getting out of Texas. If we are moving, we are leaving this heat. And then we came to LA, and a couple weeks a year, it feels like Texas, and I can deal with it. But this has been one of those weeks.
Wow.
And I'm just happy we have an AC unit, at least in the living room.
What people have told me, it's gotten consistently hotter over the last 20 years. So by the time we
global warming
kick the bucket, it'll be blazing hot over here.
All right. Well, that's not fun. So let's move on.
Kicking the bucket or it being hot?
All of it. None of it's fun.
Don't be
hot
afraid
right
of
now. We can't have the fans
Embrace
on
it.
because we got to record. And so
That's right.
We're getting hot. So this
might be short.
This might be a shorter episode. We'll see. I don't know. We talk a lot still. But
2-hour episode.
That's your cue.
What's my cue?
For the next segment.
What we've been watching. Have I done this one before?
I think so,
I don't
maybe.
think of we've been watching.
Okay. All right.
I did not end it.
Yeah. Good enough.
Yeah.
What have we been watching? I was trying to remember.
You said the Desperados.
Oh, yeah. We watched the Desperados movie on Netflix last night with Nasim Pedrad.
Pedrad? I think it's Pedrad. Yeah.
I think so. I like her.
She's good.
And then she was sort of teamed back up with I had his name yesterday. Lamorne Morris? I think
Maybe.
it is.
Sure.
Winston from New Girl.
I like to
Back together again.
She wasn't mean. Well, but she wasn't like the usual mean character she usually plays.
She wasn't mean on New Girl.
Yeah, she was. She was kind of like stern and.
She was a cop.
But that's what I'm saying. She was still mean. She usually plays somebody who's like, I know everything.
I think more stern, not mean.
She was mean. So, yeah, she wasn't fun like everybody else. She was very like authoritative. So I take that as mean.
Okay. I don't know. I read it differently.
You're wrong.
Okay.
No. So I don't remember what else we've watched.
Well, that was a cute movie.
Handmaid's Tale.
We did finish Handmaid's Tale.
I do up to season 3.
Yeah, I have thoughts on Handmaid's Tale.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a little advice: if you have not watched it,
watch it with your parents.
Actually,
no.
So, but
I don't think it's that weird of a thing to watch.
Okay, but if you're one of those people like me who is sensitive to what they watch and they kind of internalize.
Are you telling
characters
them to watch it before they go to bed?
No.
That's my advice.
Nope. Mm-hmm. I am saying maybe binge watching that show is not the best idea.
Binging anything is the best idea.
No.
Alcohol, speed,
French fries.
Yeah, French fries, straight up canola oil.
It's a heavy show. That's all I'm saying. There were several nights I went to sleep and dreamt about Handmaid's Tale, and it was not happy.
Were you a handmaid?
I can't remember. I can't remember anymore.
Hand model?
I don't think I was any of those. I don't remember, but I definitely woke up in a mood, and then the show is like, at least for a woman, the whole thing is just like women are in a crap situation, and so it kind of made me feel like everything is evil.
Everything is evil.
So anyway, If you were one of those people, you can watch whatever and it doesn't affect you. Cool, binge all you want. But I'm just giving a warning to the people who are sensitive.
Right. If you watch Friday the 13th and then go right to bed and you smile like me, watch it.
Josh
anytime.
can handle anything.
I can handle anything. I'm like a goat with movies and TV shows.
Yeah.
Give me those cans.
Yeah.
That didn't sound right.
Yeah. No. Okay.
That sounded like that Curb Your Enthusiasm episode.
That just sounded like Handmaid's Tale. Give me those cans.
No, that's against the code.
They demand you don't own your body.
That's true, but they don't. They're only there for the ceremony. Most of them, you should be only there for the ceremony,
unless you're going to Jezebel's.
That's
anyway,
right.
No spoilers. Okay, so I don't know what else we've been watching. Something else, but I don't remember.
Other stuff. I've been watching Donut Media on YouTube. I don't even drive a lot of cars.
Oh, that's the car thing.
Yeah, all cars.
So you like to watch a lot of YouTube videos where the host like screams all screams all the information at you. And I'm not a fan of
Not
this.
all the time. It's just wacky, weird things.
Yeah.
That's all.
Okay, Minty we love Minty. That's another one you guys can look up. He's entertaining. He talks about movies. Also, he sort of kind of yells, but not really. Right?
He's far away from the mic.
Yeah. So, but your other guys, your video game guys and the car guys, like scream into a microphone.
RGT 85. I'm going to watch this when we get done with
that's the guy really not a fan of the yelling.
Nintendo Switch eShop sales.
Yeah, but he does give you information, so that's good. Anyway. Oh, but the other thing we've been watching is Ted Lasso.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
It's so good.
Shout out to Ben Merritt again, our sponsor. We're using that money to watch
Apple TV.
It started out just for the Beastie Boys documentary, and then we
forget to cancel.
This
is how they get you.
This is how they get ya. This is how they get ya. Yeah, I think that's most of it.
But I really enjoyed Ted Lasso. It's a surprising show. It doesn't follow the sort of usual format of things, I think.
Yes.
And that's all I'm going to say, but it's a happy little show.
Happy dappy.
I think. All right.
Cool. Let's jump into it.
I guess that's it. All right. IMDb time?
IMJS.
Okay. I am MW. And you're not JS.
JoshSpoon.com.
Okay.
.com.
All right, guys. So jumping into Project Power. By the way, since I just said the title, what do you feel about the title? How do you feel about this title?
It's not memorable, but
no, because we can't remember what this movie is called.
I think it's because it's two P's, and also I don't. Netflix. The problem with streaming is that it doesn't really give you, for the most part, a relationship with anything you watch. It's just almost like a buffet. Actually, it's like the Japanese buffets where they bring the food comes around in a conveyor belt. And you're kind of like, what's this? And after a while, you just eat it.
Oh, okay.
You don't even know. It could be squid. It could be,
no idea
ham.
what it's called.
I don't know.
Just whatever.
So a movie comes on or is in the like what's coming next week, and you just add reminder, and then it shows up in your list, and you go, oh yeah, and you press go or whatever, and then you're watching the movie, and you're like, wait, what movie is this? Called? How do I even recommend it? I don't even know. So I think
called it Not Limitless.
Not
earlier.
limitless.
I couldn't remember what it was called, and I remembered
Limitless with limits. 5 minute limitless.
5 minute limitless.
5 minute.
No.
5 minute limitless.
Y'all, have you seen the Subway commercial?
We're not talking about Subway
stuck
commercials.
in my head every time.
We're not talking about Subway. We're not talking about Subway
about
commercials.
$5 footlongs and Charlie and his piano.
I'm doing the editing.
Don't cut it out. Okay. All right. IMDb. I don't like the title, by the way.
Uncle Joey.
That was all. Okay. IMDb says, when a pill that gives its users unpredictable superpowers for 5 minutes hits the streets of New Orleans, a teenage dealer and a local cop must team with an ex-soldier to take down the group responsible for its creation.
Bum, bum, bum.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. It's more than one sentence, which it usually does.
No, it was one very long sentence.
Yeah, but it's a descriptive long sentence.
It was more than 12 words.
So many commas in there?
Yeah, one. But, usually, I kind of
one is the loneliest
hate on
comma you'll ever
IMDb
see.
for these little synopsis with that one was decent.
Maybe they heard you. Maybe they've been listening to the pod, as the kids say.
Yeah, they've been listening to the cast.
To the cast. I just pictured a cast. I didn't picture anything.
I was going to say the P-cast, but that sounds weird.
Classy.
All right. Well, there we go.
Yeah, that sounds true.
That sounds accurate.
So the I like this movie. It's kind of like most Netflix action films. I feel like I like them. They do the job. It's kind of like it's kind of like a decent meal. You're like, it does the job. Like I did eat, you know.
I did watch a movie.
I didn't hate it by any means, but I wasn't like, whoa. There were things about it that I was.
Oh,
really...
How does it compare? What's the other one we just watched recently? Which actually could have been 2 months ago because I have no concept of time right now.
I'm like, that was 2018.
Yeah, but it was another Netflix action movie.
Talking about Bright?
No. It literally was in the last couple months. And it had Mark Wahlberg in it.
Oh, that movie?
Yeah. Okay, so you like this movie better than that.
Yeah.
Okay. But it was another Netflix action flick.
Yeah. This had way more action than that.
Yeah, this one was better.
That one was more like action comedy. Okay, so
it's tomato.
Let's start with the bad. The bad thing about this was that it did do some elements of trying to be comedy, but it didn't do it enough and didn't do it well enough, so it was a little bit strange.
How do you mean? Who was trying to be comedic?
They had a couple of like little jokes between Joseph Gordon-Levitt and the girl, and then between Jamie Foxx and the girl, and they were kind of like flat, like they were like, but it wasn't like. I think part of it for me was that because to advance the story forward, they had to kind of is it pigeonholed? Yeah, the character development because. They had to...
Yeah, this was not... Nobody developed anywhere.
Well, not even that, like their relationships. So Jamie Foxx's character goes from like, I'm going to kill your mother to her being like, I'm going to help you.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And I understand it. It just seems like in that amount of time, there's no way in the world I would go from you're trying to kill my mother to let me help you with this project of saving your daughter.
Right.
I'd be like, peace out.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, so this movie got 60% tomato meter. Rotten Tomatoes. I forgot what it's called. 60% Rotten Tomatoes and 51% popcorn audience score. So, surprisingly, the critics like this movie a tinge more than the audience. So...
Yes.
I was just going to pause and let you resituate yourself.
If you wouldn't have said anything, there would have been no edit.
Well, I thought you were going to have to. We don't have to edit it. So anyway. Yeah. So fair 60%?
I give it 70%. Like I feel like it was decent. Like it was a passing grade. There was a lot of things in there that were really cool. So I think that's what kind of brings it up. But it's just like that and like
I thought it was good. I would give it a 65%, 65, 70.
You think something is good with 65%?
Well, 60% is fresh tomato or whatever. Like it's not a bad tomato.
I don't know.
70%.
As an educator, 65% is failing.
Oh, okay. Well, as not an educator, I don't know. I think 65, 70, maybe 75. I don't know.
I think it's funny because I feel like everybody individually did really good.
Yes.
It was just kind of like bringing it all together.
Yeah.
Was not fully.
This was kind of one of those movies, and I read a few little quotes that sort of nailed it down, where this movie, they said it was good because I feel like there's a lot of movies where it was almost done. Like if they had done a little bit more, it would have been really great. So this movie in particular, people feel that it spent, like all the effects were really good and they spent a lot of time on the action, but the character development, like you were saying, and like maybe for me, it was like the dialogue. Some of it was kind of cheesy. I actually wrote down a few that were a little cringy, but you know, it was kind of like almost there. But okay. So passing grade, keeping that in mind, I would give this movie a 70 or 75.
Because I persuaded you?
Yeah. I'll settle at a 73.
Okay.
But can I give you my tidbits about the movie?
Sure.
Okay.
Show me your tidbits.
No. Okay. All right. So this movie, there was a bidding war for this movie.
Ooh.
And Netflix won. And
Against who?
It doesn't say.
Why?
But they won, and that was in 2017. So this movie took a minute to make. And then it was 80% finished when things went into lockdown. So,
wait.
Right.
They had a bidding war for the script?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The story. They had a bidding war in 2017 for it.
Gotcha.
And Netflix won. And then they started filming, and oh, sorry, I have too many. I lost the Wikipedia page because I was looking up the shrimp. But anyway, so
too
then
many tabs, bro.
I can't remember when they started filming, but they were 80% done with the movie. So they had finished all the filming and all that. And then everything went into lockdown in March. And so then they sent out computers to everybody, and they finished all the editing and sound and all that. Everyone finished it remotely. I guess from their houses. So
like that guy did from the DNC
yeah,
with his shoes off and his shorts.
With his bare feet, and his shorts and his giant screens in his house. Okay, so that was one. The scene, which was one of my favorite scenes, you know, the scene where the ice lady, she was locked up in the thing, and then there's a fight breaks out around her, and they shot it. Some of the fight they shot from the outside, and then a lot of it they shot from the inside, and we're seeing it from her perspective, looking around.
Did they edit out all the outside fights? I don't even remember any of that. Like, I remember the beginning part, but then once it went offline and she started breaking down molecularly, it was just all from inside, wasn't it?
Yeah. We saw the fighting start from the outside.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And then we went to her, and she started screaming. We're seeing her perspective now.
Right.
And so we see from her point of view, really, she's like looking around, all this fighting going on around her, which I thought was really cool. And that scene took a year to do all of the visual effects for everything that went into that scene. Which now I'm thinking back, I'm like, now I just want to watch that scene again. Because I didn't really realize, I was paying attention to her. And then all of a sudden I realized, like, behind her, there was the fight scene going on. And I was like, oh, snap. There's like all this stuff happening back there. So then I started paying attention. But now knowing that scene took a year to complete, now I want to go back and watch again to be like, why? Like, what was going on? I don't know. But it could have been like they're just making her turn into ice. Who knows what, they were doing
Well,
there.
we don't know what because they could have shot the fight from inside as one take, and then her moving around as another take. And then they had to do the special effects on it. Like when we watched that video with the chick from The Act, where she's dancing on that Dance Dance Revolution thing, and you find out it's all in a green screen except for the Dance Dance Revolution.
Oh, yeah.
And they're swirling
what
around.
Was that, the kissing booth or something?
Yeah, the kissing booth too. They're swirling all around the DDR thing, and there's people, and they're inside of an arcade, but actually they're on a green screen. And then they never showed in the video how they did the arcade area.
Right.
Like, did they film an arcade with people in it in a green screen, and then put those two green screens together and composite the camera movement? Because all the camera movement has to be exactly the same and all that. So they could have done the same thing. Like, they shot the fight scenes.
All of the fight scene could have been,
that's true.
Generated or whatever.
It could
it's
be
called.
all fake.
CG.
Yeah.
CGI?
Yeah.
Is it CG or CGI?
People call it CG, just like they call it the gram. So,
okay.
But it's CGI.
Okay. All right. So, that was number 3. I have a couple of these. Last thing about the actual movie. as a whole is there was a little bit of controversy because there were claims that this was a stolen idea from an Indian movie that has a name that I'm not going to try to pronounce because I don't want to butcher it. But essentially, it's a movie that came out in 2016, and it is about a cop that's been suspended for something, and he's trying to track down this chemical drug maker. And the drug, it's an inhaler, and it gives the person 5 minutes of power.
That sounds like not
it has
exactly the same movie, but it is exactly the same movie.
It has a different plot. Like, it goes a different way. And I think somebody falls in love, maybe. I don't know. But it seems like it goes in a different direction. But that whole, like, 5 minutes of power thing is the same. So anyway, but it doesn't say what came of that. So I don't really know. But I found that interesting. Okay.
Power inhaler.
Now, remember that apartment complex in New Orleans? So they did actually shoot all this in New Orleans.
They better have.
And they said that was important because, a lot of places will shoot elsewhere and pretend that it's New York or whatever.
New Orleans is the place that everyone fake shoots other locations at. So it would be weird if they were like,
right.
We're not going to shoot in New Orleans.
That's
like everything's
true.
shot in New Orleans nowadays.
Yeah. So you remember the scene with the apartment complex? And I was like, that apartment complex I get the idea it was where the drug dealer lived.
Mm-hmm.
And it was there's a bunch of trash. And I think you're supposed to get this like shady feeling from it.
Right.
But
it's a museum.
It had like this beautiful murals and like it wasn't graffiti. It was like murals all over the building.
Jesus and murals?
Yeah. So they came across that apartment complex when they were location scouting. So they felt, they loved it and they wanted to use it for that scene. So they kind of rewrote the scene a little bit to fit that building. And what that building actually is an abandoned apartment complex that an artist has created an installation on. So it, in fact, was too pretty to be a drug dealer apartment
Sounds
complex.
right. It was a museum in a sense.
Yeah, I guess
Art
so.
museum piece.
Yeah.
Did they credit the guy?
I don't know. I would
girl?
hope.
Look at me being sexist.
Yeah, I would hope so.
Or them.
I don't actually know. We can look into this. I didn't write that one down.
We already started the podcast. No looking.
All right.
No looky-loos.
All right. I got two more.
Two more. That's it.
Okay. Three, maybe
That's
three.
all you get. Nope. You already said two. We shook on it.
I'll roll some of these in together. Okay. I have other facts actually that we'll get into when we get there in conversation. The girl. Okay, so his daughter Tracy, right?
The fish bender?
No. Tracy, the source of all the power, right? The whole purpose. Jamie Foxx is looking for her.
Yeah.
And then that lady that was in charge gave this whole explanation of why they needed to keep her, because she was like Henrietta Lacks, where she was the supplier of all this medical cures and advancements and whatever. And so they were comparing his daughter to Henrietta Lacks, which I discovered the actress who plays Jamie Foxx's daughter, who is being referenced to as Henrietta Lacks, was in the movie about Henrietta Lacks. Yeah. Super interesting, huh? No.
Super.
Just an interesting little coincidence.
Cool.
Yeah.
I thought you were about to say it's related to her.
No, that would have been like, whoa. Yeah. I don't know who she played in that movie, but she was in it.
She played the male lady?
Yeah.
The male girl? She was like 14.
I think her name was Deborah in the movie. Maybe Brenda.
What about her sister?
I think it was Deborah.
And your sister?
No, sister.
I think her name was Deborah.
Okay. You want the last fact that I'll say right now? I know there's a lot this time. There's been other movies I didn't have any. I had like two. Okay, this is the last one.
All right.
Fishback. Dominique Fishback.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so she got her script and she went to a creative arts school in New Orleans, and she went through the script with the girls at the school and was like, hey, would my character actually say these things?
Wait, Was she allowed to do that?
I don't
didn't think you
know.
can, like,
That's
just
what I
show
was
scripts
thinking.
to unfinished movies to all your friends.
Right? Well, I mean, they weren't her friends. They were just girls at school.
Doesn't
But
matter.
I
Like,
don't know.
I know I can't talk about secret stuff
She
that I
needed
know
to
of just to
research her
random
character,
people.
which I think was cool because she just wanted to make sure that a girl from New Orleans, a teen from New Orleans, would actually speak this way.
Snitches get stitches.
Well,
Script snitches get stitches.
maybe she made them all sign NDAs. Maybe
They're like, what's an
maybe they
NDA?
were credited as consultants.
Maybe.
They were at a creative arts school, so
They are creative
knows?
consultants of
Yeah.
arts.
I have other things, but I'll just wait until later.
Oh, I got a fact for you.
Do you?
The bad gal in this movie is married to Bradley Whitford.
Oh, that lady.
Oh. They're
What did we
married.
say? She seems like an alternate version of Andrea
And-
Savage.
Yeah, Andrea Savage.
Yeah.
Alternate universe,
Yeah.
Andrea Savage.
They could play sisters or
Yeah,
something.
they should play sisters if
Cousins.
you're listening, either one of you.
Andrea
sisters.
Savage and who was her name? Amy?
Lauren Laughlin
No, she's going to jail.
for 3 days.
Amy Landecker.
She's going to play jail.
Yeah.
Black and Landecker.
All right. Well, that was a lot of facts. Thanks for letting me tell you
You're welcome.
some things. I thought they were interesting.
I thought they were facts.
Okay.
I'm just playing. They were interesting.
Well, who was your favorite character?
My favorite character, the Stretch Armstrong guy. That guy who had the powers to be Stretch Armstrong.
Did you look him up to see if he was one of those
Oh,
breakers?
I did not. But you know what?
I forgot what they call him. They have
I
a name.
love Stretch. Not Stretch. Was it Stretch Armstrong? Plastic Man. That's who I love. Plastic Man, the
Plastic
cartoon from
Man?
the 70s.
Oh, okay.
That was great. I used to
Was
love
he
that as a
stretchy?
kid.
Or
Mhm.
he was just,
He was literally. That's what he was. He was. I think he's is he DC Comics?
did he melt in the sun?
I don't think so. But he turned into anything. He
Oh.
turned like a jet, and he could make like really stretchy. Like when the bad guys would be running,
Oh, so he
would
was
turn
like-
into a net.
He was like Play-Doh. Or
Yeah,
he
he could
was silly
form-
putty.
Yeah, he could form into pretty much anything.
Could you smush him on a newspaper and
I
Lift
don't
the
know
comics?
if he ever did that, but that reminds me I need to look for those episodes of Plastic Man. It was cool. He had really cool shades. Yeah, that guy was my favorite. I think
in the whole movie, that guy?
Yeah, I liked him. No, but I think I will say that Fast Fish, what's her name?
Fast Fish?
Fastbender. What's her name?
Fishback.
Fishback.
Just call her Dominique.
Dominique, I think she was really awesome. I think her best scene was when she thought she was going to die in the truck when he had her in the trunk. Like if I was just listening to that, I would be, or if I was outside of our apartment, I'd be like, oh my goodness, someone's trapped inside of the apartment. Like the way
yeah.
she was screaming, kind of like pleading and scared, it was pretty convincing. So I thought that she was really great, especially for somebody I don't know. Not saying she hasn't done anything, but that I haven't seen in the, everyday movie person zeitgeist. So
She was in stuff we haven't watched.
yeah.
Like The Hate You Give, which has been on my list to watch forever.
Yeah.
But a couple of these characters, I realized, I'm like, oh, they're newcomers. No, they're just newcomers to me.
Well, yeah, that's why I said that. It's like
Yeah.
I heavily assume that most of the people I'm seeing in a movie have been in other stuff. Like they've either been in children's programming, or they're Australian and they're huge in Australia, or they're just doing a lot of good work that I just never see. Like I didn't know that what's her name from Handmaid's Tale has a movie almost every year for the last 20 years. So like I only knew Mad Men, this show, and one or two other things.
she's
but
busy.
she works all the time.
Okay, so your stretchy guy is a real life contortionist.
I knew it.
That's all I know. His name is Xavier Day.
Ooh.
We thought he might have been one of those dancers.
The Stretch Brothers, the two
That
Flexi Arm Brothers.
I know. Well, I know we watched him on well, you probably saw them when I was watching. So You Think You Can Dance? Long time ago.
Why are you saying it questioning?
Because I couldn't remember what it was called for a second.
Oh, yeah, they were on that, and then they were in some movie we watched or something.
Yeah, but I don't know if if this guy is one of them. I don't know. Okay, so stretchy guy and her kidnap scene.
I think one thing that was kind of weird to me was the most well, not the most powerful, but the most damage. The person that could give the most damage in the movie barely used his power, which was the dude who had the frog bones. He could break his bones and then grow knives out of them. I was like, dude, you're on top of a shipping container, and for some reason you make a bunch of noise coming down, and you don't just stab everybody in the chest.
Right.
Obviously, it's a movie, so he couldn't have done it because everyone would have died. Like in reality, he would have won. But it was just kind of funny that that guy was so powerful, but didn't even use his power to the fullest. And I think that's the thing over time that makes action movies hard, because kind of like we were saying about The Heat, everything becomes so logical in life that sometimes it's hard for you in certain aspects to just float away and be like, this is how the story has to go. It has to go against logic, because logically, John McClane would be dead within the first 8 minutes of all the diehards.
Right.
One person cannot stop an army of, like, even if you are the worst shot, you could probably kill a person with a machine gun. You know, if you're aiming it decently.
Right.
So
as long as it didn't knock you down.
Right. And as long as there's nothing in front of them. But, you know, in action movies, you see people just like unload in front of a guy with no obstruction, and then he misses so yeah, it's just one of those things that doesn't really matter.
So
it's kind of weird.
So all the powers we saw were Joseph Gordon-Levitt was bulletproof.
Yeah.
And then there was the Hulk guy. He took it and then turned into like a big giant Hulk man.
He turned into like a deformed Hulk. He was kind of like sideways and not really upright.
Yeah, he was a mess, but he was gigantic. And then like the broken bone frog guy, like you said. There was an invisible guy.
Yeah, in the beginning.
Who else? Oh, Machine Gun Kelly turns into a fireball.
Yeah, that was probably the worst one. Like, that's the fire. The
worst power or the worst?
Either way, if he threw like fireballs, kind of, you know, like the Human Torch or whatever, that would be kind of cool. But
just
all he did was
into fire.
You got to run up on somebody, and then you end up mistakenly setting like a bunch of kids on fire trying to kill one person, or setting a house on fire trying to kill
and also because we saw his character at the beginning of the movie, and he looked fine. Machine Gun Kelly had a face, and then when we saw him later in the movie, after he'd been using his powers, I guess it seemed like every time he used his powers, he actually ended up singeing his body. So his face was jacked. So he had caught himself on fire too many times.
Never good.
What other powers?
Kids, when you're out there, don't get your face on fire too many times.
Yeah.
There was the ice lady. There was
the guy that just exploded.
Yeah, the guy who took it. I like that. They were like, everybody be cool. And he's like, I'm going to be a bad guy hero, and I'm going to take it. And he just
I did like that was an element to this whole thing, was that there was kind of a you didn't really know what was going to happen. An element of danger, I guess.
It's like a literal drug. You never know.
That's true.
You don't know if you don't have the dosage right, or your body just doesn't.
But they had been saying it, and we hadn't seen it yet.
Yeah.
So then this one guy takes it.
Yeah, I think it was interesting. I would have liked to have seen how they came up with this, because the capsule was digital, but also had analog like components in it. There was some sort of liquid or DNA or organic material, but then there were computer chips in there. So yeah, it was kind of
because they were tracking it. Remember, that's what he was saying. He said at some point he was like, "Oh, they're putting this out there on purpose so they can study what happens to everybody."
That's true.
When they take it,
maybe
so they were sort of tracking it.
I guess that. Yeah, I just wonder if there was another reason there was that helped activate it. Because remember, you had to turn it,
you had to twist it, and then it would glow.
And so I was like, huh, interesting. But yeah, the really Yeah, the pill in and of itself was an interesting character,
Yeah, yeah,
just
I guess
like
so.
how it worked. And then I think that whole animation and everything that happened, um, it's one of those it's a classic thing, like when you see people take like PCP or something like that in movies and their eyes like open up and then it shows like the blood coursing through the
Oh
veins and
yeah,
all that, like
yeah.
the electron microscope kind of point of view. And then the kind of not graphic, but yeah, kind of a CGI version of that where they would show different flows happening of like what looked like sand and water or whatever. I don't know what a
Mm.
better description of that is. But I thought that was really cool. I was kind of like excited. I was like, yeah, somebody's about to rage. So I thought that was really cool. And I think just Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character taking the drug like right off the bat was kind of cool because it wasn't this what usually happens in movies where they're like, we've got to stay on the up and up and keep. He's like, no, we need to get on their level, else we're all gonna
Right.
die. So,
He's like, they're wreaking havoc, so I'm gonna join in this. You know what? His accent threw me at first. It took me a minute to.
his New Orleans-ish accent.
Yeah, I was like, oh, what? Huh? What's happening? And then I was like, all right, just go with it. And it settled in after a minute.
It was good when he was calm. Like, I don't know how people from New Orleans talk when they're angry. I don't know too many people that I can think of from New Orleans, but he had two people who don't live in New Orleans, a New Orleans voice. When he got angry, I think it just kind of went wherever it went, but yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
I think that the interesting thing was this whole purge idea in a way. Like if you've ever seen The Purge, it comes to be that the government is really using the poor and minority communities as a testing ground for something, and then also using it as a way to rid the population of people of color and poor people. So it was funny because it was the same type of notion here where it's like, oh, let's go to New Orleans. And, let's test on these people. Let's like do a Tuskegee Airmen situation on these people. So
they kind of pointed that out a bit.
Yeah.
In the movie, like making reference of like how things were handled when the hurricane happened. And he was basically like, you saw what anybody cared about when the hurricane hit. So
Right.
When he was explaining to Joseph Gordon, I forgot his character's name, Frank. He was explaining to Frank, like, your people are in on this. Everyone is in on this. The government is in on this.
Right. Yeah, I thought that was interesting. They didn't really go into that. Like, I thought that was it's kind of interesting that it
was like a passing.
Yeah, it was kind of like an important part and then a passing part because which was also interesting again. We never saw Courtney's character, his boss.
Oh yeah, we never saw him again.
He just usually he's the one, he would walk up next to the bad lady and be like, "We've been working together the whole time."
We just ended up with the understanding that he's in on it.
Right, he's in on it, like which I think is more realistic. There's a lot of like in LA, there's a councilman who's just arrested a couple of months ago. There's probably other council people in on it, but they're not really going to be known or whatever. Or that's not really a part of the story or what they're really going for. So it's the same kind of thing. It's just like, all right, we're just going to try to get this big fish, and the little fish, they'll all scurry away. So I guess that was realistic. And then his partner, we never saw him again either.
Oh right.
We literally saw him go, "Hey man, if this was me, I would." And then Joseph Gordon-Levitt had bolted, and then I think we maybe saw him for.
We
2
saw him
seconds.
get shot.
Oh right.
He got shot.
So I guess he lived.
I guess so. He seemed to only get shot in the shoulder.
Yeah, but movies are.
I wonder if those are kinds of scenes that like they shot follow-up scenes, but then they just didn't make it into the movie,
right?
Or if they were just like, "Wow, we don't need to follow up on that."
The movie would have been like 2.5 hours if they would have done that. So yeah, it's kind of they probably were like, we don't need to go any further on this. It was interesting. Like, it took a lot of shortcuts, but it also did a couple of things, like I said, that were not usual tropes of action movies. But it does leave it kind of lacking from what you're used to. You're kind of like, a lot of things weren't wrapped up. Like, we don't know who this, and I don't know if they're going for a part 2, like who this shadow puppet government is, or who's in on it.
Do you think it's really over at the end?
Yeah, and you said it's over for me.
Right.
But that's what they all say. They all say it's over for me, and they say, we need you for one last run.
Right.
And then it's Die Hard 65.
Well, the government's not going to let them go. There's more people involved. They'll come
his
for
daughter,
him.
they want his daughter again. Yeah, it's, I think that was definitely a kind of a weird situation of decisions. But, when you're making a movie, you gotta cut something. Else you end up with, not everybody can be Tarantino and have 4-hour movies that everybody, I watched that whole thing 4 times. Yeah.
So my favorite character was
hold on.
Yes.
What was your favorite character?
Oh, okay. Well, I loved Dominique. I loved Robin. That's all. She was my favorite. I find it interesting that they made her a rapper. Like, if you think about the storyline, there's no real reason for that.
Not at all.
Yeah, she could have just been like
any other kid. A grocery clerk.
Right. But I enjoyed that about her, that she had her own thing going on, and her own thing. But I just like the actress. I think she did a really good job. I think she had a lot of charisma.
Yeah, she was great.
That she brought a lot to that. And then I don't. You maybe left the room, but I don't know if you remember hearing the song at the end called "My Power," and that was her.
Oh, okay.
Her and the friend in class that.
Oh yeah, that told her in the dream in the Ally McBeal sequence.
Yeah,
she could rap.
Yeah, that told her to rap and was doing the beatboxing for her. She's a real rapper, and her name is Chica, and she is the one who wrote all of the raps for Robin.
Riggedy raps.
Yeah, so she's on the song at the end as well. So she probably wrote the song, I'm guessing. I don't know, but anyway, I like all the little things they gave her. Like, she's trying to take care of her mom. She's a rapper. She has this dream, and she's being realistic about her life. And
so would you say, like, she grew up a little girl with dreams? Dream. Shout out to Solange.
Okay. I was like, I know you're referencing a song, but I don't know what it is. I never know what they are.
You need to listen to my Spotify and Apple Music.
Here's the thing. Here's what I did make note of.
Okay.
Which kind of is annoying, but you tell kids to a certain point, you tell them, you can be whatever you want to be. Have dreams. Shoot for the moon, whatever.
Stars.
You can be what you want to be. But then at some point when the person says, like, I want to be a rapper, like, grown people laugh at them. And they're like, that's not a real dream. You can't do that.
Well, it's
but that's what happens. Like, if you want to be an artist, that's not generally super supported.
It's just not generally possible.
Right.
Like, it's
but
so
still.
It's kind of like saying, I want a dandelion to float into my hand. It could happen. You know what I'm saying?
I know.
But it's very, like, if you say I want to be an astronaut, we could at least go, let's get them in these classes and let's move to.
But why can't
wherever.
we say that to rappers?
No, you can do that. But I'm saying
I am aware
what people are striving for is money always. So
I know.
It's just kind of like we can push somebody towards that, and if they can't become an astronaut, maybe they can work in mission command, or maybe they can work for an aerospace company, or maybe they could be a molecular engineer or something like that.
Well, I like this. I mean, I like the scene where he laughs at her and is like, okay, whatever.
Why are you being so mean that he laughs at her?
Because it was rude. All right. But
and that's why you liked it? Because he was rude?
No, I like it because she showed him.
Explain yourself.
She showed him with her rap words.
Riggedy rap.
Yeah. So, which was basically like an improv. Like, give me a word, like.
Oh, you're talking about the actual thing with Jamie Foxx's character. I thought you meant with the Ally McBeal scene with the teacher.
No. The scene, when because, teachers are kind of paid to tell you, like, stay in school, don't be a rapper. But Jamie Foxx just laughed at her, and then she proved herself, and he was like, oh, all right. Okay, you're cool. Like, yeah, follow that dream. And then at the end, though, did you notice?
Did I notice?
A lot of movies do this. They'll use the radio DJ as the narrator to like take you through the movie. And so the radio DJ was always the one telling us like, oh, there's crazy people running the street. Oh, they blew up this. Oh, did you see this crazy thing that happened? So they're kind of telling us what's going on in the city that we don't see. And then at the very end, he said, oh, did you hear the new song by Robin Riley? But it was too soon to hear that. I don't know. But he said something about...
Like she had a song already?
Yeah.
That's what I was confused about. I was
but
like,
it
wait,
would have
is
been
this the
too
right
soon.
person?
But he said Robin Riley. So I don't know. Maybe she immediately...
She quickly uploaded the SoundCloud and he called her that night. Yeah.
But anyway, I thought that was... Maybe that was radio DJ from the future. I don't know.
Radio DJ from the future, giving you all the hits that you don't know anything about.
But anyway, I liked her because she was a kid, but she was like, because there was that one scene where he was like, you can't be a kid and be out here in the streets dealing drugs. Like, you can't do both. You are...
Let that be a lesson, kids.
Right. The minute you start dealing drugs, you are now grown up.
You now are an adult.
And you have adult consequences. But
at least that's what the state prosecutor says.
But she still had she still had kid qualities. And still like portrayed that. And so I thought that was like...
She had a Velcro wallet.
Just, I guess those would be like actor choices or like I don't know who decided she still needed to like walk with her arm behind her back and like little things like that where you pick up and you're like, oh, she is still a child. Even though she's, talking big and doing things and trying to take care of her mom. Like she is still actually a child.
She's still a baby.
Yeah. So I like that.
Well, that's good. You like that.
Did you notice that Major was wearing a NASA shirt? I kept waiting for that to like come into play.
Yeah, I also noticed that when his kid was taken, he had the same shirt as the whole movie. So I was like, oh, really? Did you watch that shirt?
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, when the car was flipped, he had a NASA shirt on. Maybe he just has 10. Maybe he's like but I was Steve like, Jobs does he work
for
Ernest.
NASA? Where is NASA? In Florida?
A bunch of places. It's always been a bunch of places. Houston, Florida, probably Maryland, everywhere.
Well, he said he drove from Tampa, so...
Probably Tampa, too.
But that didn't really ever come in to play. I was like, oh, there's going to be like a NASA... I don't know what it would be. Yeah, some
Maybe
NASA
this
thing.
is like a Flight of the Navigator prequel.
Right, I don't know.
You are the Navigator. I think, the other scene that I think was really cool that kind of elevated this, like the first scene where we saw the guy running with the money from the bank was interesting, but the one where they went to the grocery store and then he shot up all those dudes, was the first time I was like, oh snap, these drugs are pretty insane. And that kind of sparked that. I felt like that's when the movie started taking off. It was just like a lot of setup before then. And I was just like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then
I know we were both a little bit confused for a little bit as far as if he had powers or not.
Right.
Because at that point, like we finally figured out we didn't see his powers until the very end of the movie.
Right. And then he was fighting people who had powers.
Right. So we're a little bit like, is he like a juiced up soldier? Or is he just a fighter? Like, right. We're a little bit confused.
Yeah, it was interesting. I think, like you said, that's the great thing about this premise is nobody really knows what their power is until they take it. So right. I can't remember if any of those people had already taken it or not, but depending on the power, you could fight them or you could shoot them or whatever. Their power it's funny because their powers were all physical in a way, physical manifestations, but some animals are just like, there were no like cheetah people, you know what I'm saying? Or stealth or like bats. Cause that would have been interesting. Like you take the pill and then you turn into a bat like creature or a possum and then you're like, holy crap, it's really bright. And then it works against you and you just get the crap beat out of you.
Right.
Or you become a rat and you just try to run and hide. Like those are certain things that if I don't know how they engineered it. Like I said, they didn't go into all that detail.
Right.
But it would have been kind of interesting you know, see somebody's like, man, I'm about to take this thing. You ready? Blah, 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 blah. And then they just turn into a snake. And then somehow they're like, get close to me so I can open my mouth. Like, it's
Right.
like, I guess you can constrict, but, you know.
Also, how would you know what unless it was
That's what
like
I'm
an overt power, how would you even know what you could do? Like
That's
if you
true.
became
What
a
is
snake
it?
and all you had, like you had a venom bite, but you don't know that.
That's
To
true.
bite
Like,
somebody, you're like, what?
Yeah, the movie assumes that like maybe there's a trigger internally
Yeah.
that kind of tells you like, hey, you can
But these
spit
were
fire.
all very outward
Right.
powers.
Well, as I'm saying, you could have a power
Except
where
for being bulletproof. I wonder how he figured that out. Like his was
I
not
guess
like
he got shot previously.
within that 5-minute window.
No, I'm saying I think he was that the first time he took it?
No. I mean, he knew then that he was bulletproof.
But as I'm
That's why he
saying,
took it. But
maybe he took the thing and then something went down and he
Yeah.
got shot.
Yeah.
And then he was like, oh, interesting.
yeah.
He like winced and he Pete winced.
Yeah.
And then it was like,
But what if that hadn't happened? Then he might not know what his power was.
yeah, I guess so. Or like I was saying, somehow it clues you in to be like, hey, you can find worms.
It
And
whispers
You're like, oh, worms? That's not really.
your body. It sends you the little computer chip inside. Sends you a text message.
Yeah, maybe.
By the way, your power is.
Yeah. Check your phone. Your power is.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of, what I was saying is just like a lot of these things are unknown
Yeah.
about how they come about.
Hey, Josh.
Hey.
Look in my eye.
Your eye?
Look in my eye.
Are you the captain now?
Am I lying?
What are you talking about?
That's what he says through the whole movie. Listen to my voice. Am I lying?
Who says that?
Jamie Foxx, the whole movie.
Oh,
He says it like, well, probably only like 4 or 5 times, but enough that somebody.
To who? About what?
Okay. The first time we hear it was when he was chasing after Machine Gun Kelly, fireman.
Mm-hmm.
And he was on the other side of the door and he's yelling at him. And he was like, come out here or I'll shoot you, whatever. And he says, listen to my voice. Am I lying? Right. So that's the first time he says it, I guess, to intimidate him. And then later he tells the girl, he's like bullying her into helping him before they're friends, Robin. And he says, look in my eye. Am I lying? Because he's like, I'm going to kill your mom if you don't help me. Look in my eye. Am I lying? And then he says
It's going to be my new saying.
He says it a couple other times. And then Joseph Gordon-Levitt even uses that as kind of like a keyword to get Jamie Foxx to trust him when he goes inside. And he's like, Robin told me to tell you blah, blah, blah. And then she ended it with, am I lying? So that was like his catchphrase, like
Right.
his thing.
That's weird.
Yeah.
I didn't notice that at all.
Oh, yeah. The whole movie. You got to rewatch it. The whole thing now.
Just for those 3
Just
parts.
for that, yeah. When we rewatch the fight scene, it's in
Probably
there.
not, but
Yeah.
it was good. It was a solid film. And like, I think we were talking about the dialogue. It was what was that? Was it Omega Man? What was that? Not Omega Man.
Omega Man.
What was that?
What's
the
Omega?
one with Will Smith had a young copy of himself?
Oh, Gemini?
Gemini Man. That is one of the worst dialogues I've ever seen for a major film. But I still love Will. Will, give me a call.
Welcome on the podcast anytime.
Yeah. But yeah, the dialogue was horrible. And this didn't have great dialogue, but it definitely wasn't Gemini Man. So
No.
that's good.
Can I tell you the cringe line I wrote down?
No.
Okay.
Text it to me.
Okay.
Did you text it?
Not yet. My phone. You told me to turn my phone off.
Oh, well, I guess we'll just never hear it.
Okay. It was when Robin was fixing him up in the vet where she was stitching him up after he got shot, which then also we realized, okay, he's not invincible because I thought maybe he was. So she's stitching him up and blah, blah. And then after he makes her wrap and blah, blah, then she raps about antibiotics, right? And then he picks up the bottle and he's like, wait, these are for dogs. And then she goes, yeah, well, you're the big dog. And I was like, oof, no, bad. Immediately wrote it down.
You're the big dog.
Cringy line. That should be on a list. Like BuzzFeed does those lists sometimes of like cringeworthy lines that stand out. That goes in there with that line from the movie with Gaga, and we always laugh.
Oh,
whatever that line was.
It was better in the movie though.
It was.
It's like, hey, what?
Yeah. So, but that was a cringe line, and then there was another one, but I forgot to write it down. But there were a few others, and they mostly came from Frank from Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character.
Way to go, Frank.
But this big dog one, that was pretty bad.
Yeah.
Cheeseball.
Yeah, I remember that. That was not that great. Yeah, that's the kind of stuff I was talking about. Those little like small jokes.
Yeah.
They should have just ditched the jokes.
Yeah. Some of them were pretty good. I did like the relationship between Frank and Robin.
Which one was Robin? I don't remember names.
Oh, Robin's the girl, Dominique.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
They had that rapport, right? He was looking out for her. He cared about her.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
know.
yeah, because they had been like friends for a little bit.
Yeah, they were like buddies.
Buddy.
Yeah.
It was slightly cringe, but it was also kind of funny when Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character came in through the window to save her mom
Yeah.
from the two
I like that scene.
guys.
Yeah. What? We can't be together?
Right.
I was like, wait, why is he taking off his clothes?
Yeah, I didn't know why he did that.
What
but
is
yeah.
happening? I was like, oh, that was some quick thinking.
I don't know why they didn't stay, because once he said, "Do you have a cat?" I'd have been like, "Wait."
Yeah.
I would have been like, "What?" I thought he was gonna get busted on that, but
Mhm.
they're meatheads, so I guess they didn't really think that.
Right. And then he pulls out the phone like, oh, I'm going to put, and they got to get out of there at that point. They can't
Yeah,
be
they can't be
blasted everywhere.
Well, it is.
'Cause
It is
they're
allegedly online.
Their government, and
The government.
I guess we never really figured out who exactly is running things,
Well,
which
yeah,
I think
that's
you were
the-
saying earlier, but
Yeah.
the government. It's
They're
always
trying,
just,
they're trying to go for a part 2.
it's the government.
The
Whatever it
government.
is.
The gooberment.
Can we talk about the pistol shrimp?
Sure. This will be our last thing.
Oh, okay.
We're ending on the pistol shrimp.
Ending on the
I
pistol shrimp.
shrimped you.
So, guys, the pistol shrimp. Oh, wait, no. Before I talk about the pistol shrimp, I have to mention that the guy in the very beginning of the movie with the beard that was like handing out the drugs, he had
Is Rick Sanchez as a shrimp?
No, his name I think is like Rodrigo Santoro. He had major circus. What's the guy? Ringmaster vibes. And also, he made me think of Commander what's his face from Handmaid's Tale. But mostly he just seemed like a ringmaster. Like he seems like a
I can
very
see that.
odd character. Of casting and of characters, he just seemed like an odd. He didn't really fit the movie. Okay. To the pistol shrimp.
Let's do it.
So, Jamie Foxx's character, I don't know if he had an actual name, but they called him Major. We were wondering the whole movie what his power was going to be. So eventually, finally, at the end, because he said he was saving his pill, and we were yelling at the screen, like, why aren't you taking your thing? And then we figured out why. Because it was this massive power. And he explained to his guard, like, my power is the pistol shrimp. And then I had to look this up because I was wondering if it was true. So he explained it to him that it was this little tiny shrimp, and they're about 1 to 2 inches long. Teeny tiny.
Mm-hmm.
So
How do they fry up, though?
I don't know. Probably really loud. But yeah.
Just, like, blew up your apartment.
I really want to see one of these though. I mean, there's pictures, but you
You
can't
haven't seen
really...
a video?
No.
Oh, I've seen a video. It's
Oh,
pretty crazy.
okay. I need to find this video then.
Yeah,
So
it's
they
on
have
YouTube.
like one big claw, right? One regular claw, one big claw. Could be the right, could be the left. Doesn't
It's
really
like
matter.
when Homer Simpson started lifting weights on one
Mhm.
hand.
Yeah. So these shrimps. sit-
Or when Morty got one, he just took that one dead guy's hand in the
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Mad Max.
So
Or, no, I don't have any others.
so he has the one big claw and he snaps it.
Thanos.
It's so loud, it creates a bubble, and that makes this like crazy loud acoustic pressure noise thing. And then that also, when the bubble does something, it goes back in, maybe?
Burst?
Maybe. Oh, collapsing. So the collapsing cavitation bubble. So a lot of sciencey words. I'm not sure what's happening, but that creates sonoluminescence. Sonoluminescence, maybe. Which creates the heat hotter than the sun. What
Snap, son.
is this?
Oh, snap, son.
What is this?
Oh, snap, son.
Yeah.
Wait, so how does he not get caught up in the
I
fun?
don't know. It says the bubble reaches the temperatures of over 8,000 K or 7,700 Celsius.
Just think if we can harness that power to cook food. You just snap your finger.
You just
Yeah.
snap open these shrimp and then cook with them.
No, you snap your finger to cook food. Like you just snap it and everything around just cooks.
It's so all this happens and it stuns other big fish, and then he goes out and gets them and eats them. That's the whole point. But also the fish, these little things are on par with the noise of sperm whales and beluga whales. So he's like in the top 3 of noisiest things in the ocean. And it can even interfere with anti-submarine warfare.
Ooh, maybe there's Russian snapdragons.
Russian pistol shrimp?
Yeah.
But that's why they're called pistol, because they're like pistol sound.
Yeah.
They shoot the sound at the other fish.
I understand how pistols
and eat
work.
them.
I know how pistols
I am
work.
amazed by the pistol shrimp.
I know, they're amazing.
This movie has been very educational for me.
About what else?
Pistol shrimp.
Oh, just that. I thought you were going to say something else. Like,
nope. Just pistol shrimp. And now Dominique Fishback. Yeah, Fishback.
You're having a hard time with that name.
Never heard her name before.
Dominique Wilkins?
And
Dominique
now
Dawkins.
I know who she is and I'm a fan.
You going to watch all the movies she was in now?
Maybe.
I don't believe it.
She's in some TV shows.
I don't believe it.
Whatever.
I'm going to tell her you haven't watched anything besides Project Power.
You know what? I did think that I'm a little sad that we didn't get to see this movie in the theater, because I think it could have been
this movie?
Yeah. I think it could have been a fun theater movie. Like action-y.
I'm giving a De Niro face to that.
It could have been. It could have been a fun, because it's an action movie.
I give it a puppy dog sound.
I think it would have been a fun theater flick.
You think somehow being with other people would have made it funnier?
No, just
or more...
being in the sound, the big
the
surround.
action
Yeah,
scenes.
the action
okay.
and the big screen. And, we had to turn ours up and turn the AC off so that we could watch the movie. But anyway, I guess that's it. I liked it.
70.
All right, well, I guess that's all.
It's weird. I said 70 and we're talking numbers, but we originally said we weren't going to judge movies like that.
We did?
I did.
Oh, that's right. You didn't want to give ratings.
Yeah, well, I didn't want to be like,
Well, I wanted us
we
to
just
create...
saw a movie gives a score of...
I know. I wanted us to create our own scale. Like, we give it 7 spoons.
Oh,
Yeah.
that sounds more like you're the big dog now or whatever.
Cheesy.
Yes.
But I don't get paid a ton of money to write movies, so it's
That's
okay.
true. All right. Well, remember, heywejustsawmovie.com. Find us on the Instagrams. We're on Spotify,
Subscribe.
Apple, blah, blah, blah.
Tell your friends.
Yeah, please, if you do like us, please just whisper into someone's ear. Come up behind them like Biden, whisper it in their ear. Say,
We want
"Hey,
some
we
more
just saw a
listeners."
movie." Yeah, we always like more listeners, all that type of stuff. We want people to who love movies like we do and watch a lot of movies to be able to kind of commiserate. No, that's negative.
Yeah.
Commiserate in a positive way with us. So, smash that like button, hit the bell to get notifications. All the stuff YouTube used to say, but on subscribing to our podcast. And on that note, Michelle says,
Am I lying?
there we go. See you guys.
Okay, bye y'all.